Some love stories are never spoken out loud. They don't arrive with grand confessions or dramatic declarations under the spotlight. Instead, they linger quietly in the corners of memory, etched into the folds of time, and whispered in glances that say more than words ever could. For Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, their love, if we dare call it that, never had a headline. But it had a soul. It was born in the gentle touch of rehearsals during the Untamed. It grew with every silent laugh behind the scenes, in every shared smile caught between cuts, and in every hesitant word in interviews that felt just a little too personal. Their chemistry wasn't performative, it was magnetic. And even those who weren't fans could feel it. There was something undeniable, something that pulsed beneath the surface of their interactions, too delicate to name, too powerful to ignore. When the show ended, everything changed. They vanished from each other's side. No more joint events. No more public appearances together. Suddenly, the world that had fallen in love with their connection was left in silence. A silence that felt imposed, controlled. As though someone, somewhere, had decided they were too close, too dangerous, too powerful together. Fans speculated, of course. Maybe it was management. Maybe the industry. Or maybe it was for protection. In a world where even rumors of closeness between two male celebrities could end careers, perhaps distance was the only shield they had left. And so they did what they had to do, they disappeared from each other's orbit. But they didn't disappear completely. Because love, real love, doesn't die in silence. It adapts. It hides. It survives. Years passed. They continued their careers. They flourished. Separately. Yibo carved a path in action dramas and motorbike racing. Xiao Zhan returned to music and deeper roles. But something always felt missing. A presence. A reflection. A certain gentleness that only appeared when they were together. And then, the video. 2 minutes. A hallway. A glance. No words spoken. No scripts. Just Yibo, standing alone, turning around at a familiar touch. A smile bloomed on his face, so soft, so rare, it sent shivers through millions. And Xiao Zhan, bashful, hesitant, yet glowing like someone who had found what he thought was lost. The world didn't need context. It didn't need explanation. That moment was more honest than any press release. Fans wept. Not because it confirmed anything in a literal sense, but because it brought back something they thought had been taken from them. Proof that the bond was still there, buried perhaps, but alive. After the video, the world watched more closely. Suddenly, everything mattered again. The bracelet Xiao Zhan never took off. The necklace Yibo wore from their filming days. The cryptic social media posts. The songs. The timing. The soft changes in tone whenever they spoke about the past. And then came the dinner. A quiet restaurant, known for discretion. No cameras inside. Just a blurry photo of Xiao Zhan entering, followed later by Wang Yibo. No entourage. No noise. Just two men seeking privacy in a world that refused to let them have it. They stayed for hours. They left separately. But people knew. Everyone knew. The agencies stayed silent, as they always did. But this time, silence didn't feel like denial. It felt like surrender. Like acknowledgement without confirmation. What was once a dream began to feel like memory. Fans began to reclaim the narrative. Not begging for confirmation, but celebrating what they saw, what they felt. They created art again. Wrote stories. Composed songs. Not out of delusion, but devotion to the truth that lives in spaces between words. Something had shifted. The tension that once forced them apart seemed to fade. Maybe they had grown strong enough to meet again. Maybe they had decided they no longer owed the world answers. Maybe they just missed each other. Yibo, once distant, began smiling in interviews more. Xiao Zhan, once cautious, allowed himself to be soft again. There was a lightness to them that hadn't been there in years. And the fans, those who never left, who waited in silence alongside them, felt that change in their bones. There's something heartbreakingly beautiful about a love that persists without being spoken. A love that refuses to die even when ignored. One that bends but does not break. That's what Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan gave to the world. Not a love story that followed the rules, but one that lived in glances, in coincidences, in timing that was always almost cruel and almost perfect. And now, maybe they are learning to love again, not as idols, not as stars, but as people. Quietly, privately, tenderly. It doesn't matter whether they ever confirm it. Because love isn't made real by statements. It's made real by presence. By history. By a glance in a hallway that says, I remember you. I still see you. Their journey may never have a grand public ending. There may never be a dramatic announcement. But that doesn't make it less real. In fact, that may be what makes it more real. Because in a world addicted to noise, their silence is sacred. They found each other again, not in headlines, but in moments. In space shared behind walls. In laughter heard only by each other. In symbols worn without explanation. And that's enough. For those who have ever loved someone in silence, who've waited in the shadows, who've known what it's like to keep a flame alive without oxygen, this story is not just theirs. It's ours too. And whether it ends here or goes on in secret corridors and quiet cafes, what matters is this: they found each other. Maybe not for the world, but for themselves. And that's everything. They never said it, but we always knew. For the ones who still believe in silent love.